Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cult of Cantona. Back here in Dublin City Centre after what seems like a very optimistic couple of days. Really excited to be wearing the brand new away kit, or the third kit, on the day of its launch. I think it is the day of its launch, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, well, yes, it is. Welcome back to the show. Thanks a million for subscribing, watching, supporting the show. We really appreciate it. A new season beckons, but before any of that, we've lots to talk about. We made some notes today, so there's a bit of structure. I'm joined by our new host and contributor, Mr. James Healy-Meaney. Now, he's not a priest, as his name suggests. He is. I'll let you tell us tell the audience a little bit about yourself. What do you do? Where'd you come from? What's your star sign?
So basically, I'm a United fan through and through.
Welcome.
For years, sadly.
Yeah.
And gladly.
Yeah. Well, we all have our crosses to bear.
But bar that, no, I'm an actor and a filmmaker. I've been involved in film and acting and stuff like that for the last 7 years, I think it is now. Right. As heartbreaking as that can be, as well as being a United fan, the last few seasons. But yeah, no, that's I've born and reared in Bray, County Wicklow.
Lovely.
One of the better counties.
Yeah, Jesus, excuse me. Tell me about, I suppose, your how United came into your life, the association with Man United. How what's your earliest memory, that type of stuff, and did you choose to be a United fan, or did someone indoctrinate you into the cult?
Well, that's what the funny thing is. My granddad and my uncle are Liverpool fans. Because I remember I'm a United fan because of my dad, and growing up as well, watching United with him, and he became a United fan because my granddad came home with school bags one day.
Okay.
One was a Liverpool school bag, one was a United school bag.
What was in both of them, like drugs?
Probably. There must have been a lot of cash in the Liverpool one. Or the United one.
Did he literally do a kind of a red pill, blue pill thing where he's like, it's up to you which bag you want, kind of thing?
He just went home and went, pick. He must have ran out of Liverpool ones because, as I said, he's a Liverpool fan.
Right.
So, and then my dad took the United one.
Okay, right.
And then from there, basically, my dad then brought me into the cult, per se.
Yeah, I'm forever grateful. My dad I didn't have a choice. I mean, I've 4 older brothers, 3 older brothers, sorry, and they're all United fans, and my dad's a United fan, and all of the kids in my family, of which there are many, are all United fans. So you didn't have a choice. Even if you had an inclination to support any other team, it just wasn't an option. You would be destroyed in a pub on a Sunday if you walked in wearing a Chelsea or a Liverpool shirt or whatever. Not that I regret it or anything, but it just wasn't an option. Was it a bit like that?
Kinda, yeah. But do you know what the funny thing is? My uncle, who I was very close with at the time, he was a West Ham fan.
Right.
And
wait.
Yeah, oi.
You're having a laugh. Yeah, bubbles.
You having a giggle? So basically, he was a West Ham fan. My uncle was a massive West Ham fan, and basically what happened was my dad then converted him to United.
All right, okay. Well,
so
that makes sense because we win a lot more than West Ham.
Exactly. And what happened was he had got his room done up in West Ham, everything, curtains, wallpaper, bed sheets, the whole lot. And then my dad brought him back a school bag, which was a United.
And he gave him the red pill, blue pill option, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna stab you in the face if you don't pick the bag." So did he help him scrape all the wallpaper off the wall and pull the curtains down and everything else?
Basically, his dad turned around to him and was like, "See you." He's like, I spent years trying to get him to be a West Ham fan.
I had something similar with a child in my life as well, where he was, wouldn't say he was a Liverpool fan, but Ronaldo coming back to United certainly helped sway him the other way. So thanks for that, Ronaldo. So yeah, moving on, let's jump right into, we've loads to talk about. Start of the season is upon us. The Fiorentina game was on over the weekend. I suppose to have a little bit of a chat to start off would be to have a little bit of a discussion about David De Gea. It was wonderful, first of all, to see United do something. Even though they literally looked like they gave him like a graphic design poster that you'd see on the markets at Christmas. And he didn't get his testimonial. And part of me is disappointed with it because he should have got a testimonial because he would have given a lot of money to charity. So
100%.
So from that perspective, that it didn't look after him, and they didn't look after helping him support whatever charity is nearest and dearest to him. So that was a bit disappointing. Nice to see it marked. Nice to see the fans giving him that standing ovation and working with him in that way, like working for him in that way. And he seemed a bit touched and moved to have been back. How do you feel about the De Gea situation?
I see. I've kind of kept an eye on De Gea as well since he left. And seeing him kind of in limbo after he left United and to be treated in that sort of way was kind of heartbreaking, especially after everything he's put into the team.
Yeah.
And everything he's done for the team. And even after he left them while he was still a free agent, you could see that he was still supporting United, keeping an eye on what they were doing, and still supporting them, even though he was treated the way he was at the time. And to see a keeper of that quality, he'd made one or two mistakes, but at the end of the day as well, he's your last line of defence. Mm-hmm. He should not be taking the brunt of all the issues that have been happening.
Yeah, I think we don't seem to learn by our mistakes. We're doing something similar with Rasmus last season, putting the weight of the world on one player's. Oh, excuse me, that non-brand cola that I'm drinking is giving me the belches. But it's that thing where Rasmus Højlund, it's like, and we'll talk about Rasmus a little bit later. But Dave was incrementally becoming more prone to errors, but I think by virtue of the fact that he knew himself that United were a busted flush and things weren't going well, and he knew that things were gradually capitulating in general around the club, and I think that puts a lot of pressure on the individual. But a good point to remember, I think, about De Gea is that when when Edwin van der Sar came to Man United, he was 33. David De Gea is 33.
Yeah.
David De Gea, look at him, there's not a pick on him. He can play football until he's 40, easily. So I can't help feeling that, he had a couple of good years left on him based on what we've experienced with Onana and Bayindir last season. Is there anything to be said for a bit of competition to Onana and De Gea? And we'll get to the Donnarumma thing shortly, but do you think... I couldn't help feeling that he deserved another chance.
100%.
Would he come back though? Probably not.
Do you know what? I think he signed a new contract there for Fiorentina, and to be honest, as you said, he can still play till he's 40. Like, we still have Tom Heaton there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, like, to even bring him back in as like a third keeper or a second keeper again. But the thing is, I know that's one of the reasons why he left in the first place, because he didn't want to be a second keeper. But at the same time as well, at his quality, I don't think he would have actually been a second keeper for long.
No.
And that's the issue there as well. It's because the talent he has as well, and that's the reason they got rid of him. And this is, so they say, is to bring in a keeper who can use their feet. But at the end of the day, I've yet to see Onana use his feet in a good way.
He doesn't come out like I follow Ajax a lot over the years because of a Dutch family, and I had watched Onana play a lot for Ajax, and he's no stranger to a mistake for Ajax or Inter, And the argument is that because he comes out a lot more, he can be more vulnerable because he's coming out with the ball a lot.
Yeah.
But it's very frustrating to watch him in that regard, because you know that he's prone to errors, and many more errors than De Gea has made. So much so that there's like all sorts of nicknames floating around about him. Andre Onono, and another one which is not so nice. But when you get tagged, I think it's football is a confidence game. If you're not playing well, or if you don't feel as you're on top of it, your confidence drops. And I think some players are really good responding to pressure, and I think other players are not. And I think that Onana does not respond well to knowing that someone is potentially as good as him pushing him for his place.
Yeah.
You look at De Gea and the way he handled the Romero thing a few years ago. Dave didn't have a problem with that. He's like, put me between the sticks, I'll earn my spot. I think Onana does not respond. Like, this is the thing. He has that kind of golden boy mentality, and he needs to feel as if he has absolute unequivocal support from his manager.
Yeah.
A la Ten Hag.
Yeah. And that's what the thing with players like that as well. Like there's one like touching on what you said as well about the confidence thing. I've noticed as well a lot of players coming into United from an exterior club, different league and stuff like that. There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Because the media, you've got journalists non-stop always looking for a reason to talk about United, to talk about their goalkeeper, to talk about their striker, because it brings in viewers.
Yeah.
And that's the issue.
Every day is a United News day, as Dex says, from the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Every single day. You turn on Sky Sports News, there's a Man United story every 10, 15 minutes.
And it adds on a lot of pressure. That's why when you see players coming in from a different team, they seem to struggle a lot more than a player who's grown up through the ranks. Do you know what I mean? That's why our youth players, I feel, do a lot better than a player that we bring in from outside.
Yeah.
Because they're used to the pressure. They're used to paparazzi being around all the time. They're used to journalists digging in. Do you know what I mean? And I feel that was a big pressure for one. And
it's not such a shock. I think like they said it in the I think it was Andy Mitten at Talk of the Devil said that a big thing for players when they come to the club is they don't realise how big the club is until they leave. And players often regret the fact that they might have left or made errors or didn't acknowledge how big the club was when they were there because they're in that bubble. But even and we touched on this in the last podcast with Seamus. United have huge cachet. Even players from 30 years ago are getting stopped on the street like they're celebrities. 30 years ago, 40 years ago. So I think they, I can't understand why they're not making the most of that. And I agree that maybe the youth players, they understand the culture of it a little bit more, and they're fighting to get to that kind of golden goose at the top of the tree, and they appreciate it more. Class of '92, etc. But even the likes of Welbeck and you would have thought Garnacho.
Yeah, big time.
But we'll get on to him later. Guys, subscribe if you haven't. Share this show with a friend. You can also get us on our social media at The Cult of Cantona. We have a very, very, very cool giveaway coming up, so stay tuned until the end of the show and we'll be talking about that. But we have some other business to talk about first, the first of which being the Premier League season is back this weekend on Saturday. We're playing on Sunday, late kick-off against Arsenal at Old Trafford. The league begins. Sesko... I nearly called him Cisco for a second. He looks the real deal, doesn't he?
Watching stuff. I obviously haven't tuned into a Leipzig game or anything like that now. Yeah. But seeing him in the Champions League, seeing some highlights, seeing some nice tactical videos of him, seeing the type of player he is. Yeah. Coming into this game now, obviously it's going to be a lot of pressure. It's a big game to start up against. We've seen players who have started in this type of game who've flourished, like Anthony, for example, in his when he first played against Arsenal, that goal where he cut in and then left foot.
Oh, the same trick that he was doing for the next 2.5 years.
Yeah, and then he continued to do that then.
Yeah, he's just like, that worked on the first game. Let's do that forever.
And then just kept putting them wide or over. No,
he wasn't like Ian Robin used to do the same thing, only it worked.
Yeah.
Low and hard into the bottom corner. Anyway, but sorry, I digress.
So basically, players like that tend to either thrive in those situations and then kind of fall off, but it could be a lot of pressure. Yeah. It's a big derby. Do you know what I mean? It even crumbles like the best of players like Van Nistelrooy.
Oh yeah.
Do you know when those big rivals, because
Van Nistelrooey's stats weren't what they were against Arsenal. He did score against them, but nowhere near as much. He scored 8 or 10 goals against Fulham in 5 years or whatever. But yeah, it's a real kind of baptism of fire type moment. Does he start him? Would you start him?
Realistically, if he's dropping Højlund in the last match, I know we're going to talk a little bit more about him later on. But if Xerxes not 100%, who else is he going to really play in that position? Unless he pushes Cunha up, or else he pushes Mbeumo up, and then either plays Diallo in that position instead. He might keep him on the bench and maybe throw him in the second half, or in what I have noticed from Amorim's tactical side is he waits till the 65th minute, and then he starts bringing on more of an attacking style of a team, and then starts running at teams when they're tired.
Yeah.
So if that's what he's going to go for, then the front three can rotate constantly. Because Sesko, from what I've seen, drops back and he can play in that sort of number 10 role while the two other lads push up in sort of like a striker type style. So that can add a lot of stuff, especially to the way Arsenal are playing now at the moment. I know they've brought in some decent signings and stuff like that. We won't talk about who.
We absolutely fucking will. Yeah, I agree. I think he's I've been crying out for a Harry Kane type, or just a player who grabs the game by the balls and go, right, you're not playing well, give me the ball. You know, that kind of thing.
And what is he, 6'5"?
He's 6'5". He's a and what I'm most excited about is someone that can score fucking headers for a change. You know, so old-fashioned centre forward, like the most powerful shot I've seen on a young striker, like proper give me the ball, bang, like a peg gun, gone in the back of the net.
Especially with the pace of the Premier League as well, is like, and here's an example actually coming up against Arsenal. Yeah. They still like to play the same sort of style the City played. You know, the usual
tiki-taka, fucking bring it through the middle.
What's the formation they do? Like 4-2-3-1 or something like that, and then push all the players up and all that sort of stuff and tiki-taka. And then when they're in the defence, they just kind of block the 18-yard box. Yeah. So the likes of now Sesko, Cunha and Mbuma, who are able to shoot from outside the box, for him to have such a strike as well, and if he gets the ball at the edge of the box and with all those players in front of the keeper, he won't have enough time to react, especially with that power.
Like, that could mean the difference.
It could.
You know, all those kind of just spills that go out to Harry Kane over the last couple of years. I've been saying that the biggest mistake that United have made is not signing Harry Kane. Now, I think what they've learned by their mistakes, and they've signed the next Harry Kane, I think. Now, Sesko's stats are quite high in terms of his age bracket across Europe for an outfield player, so I'm excited about that. The jury's still kind of out on him. I was aware of him. I'd seen highlight videos before, and I do watch a bit of Bundesliga on Sky. But I think he can do what we've been lacking. And I think that the transfer window this year has been incredibly a la old Man United, where they were monitoring players. And I think little things that we've done recently are going to give the players a boost, like the new training, the new Carrington.
Beautiful.
50, yeah, it looks gorgeous. Just give, and you know, Amorim has said in his pressers as well that the subgroups of teams in terms of the psychological improvements have drastically changed. So the medical team, and I've been saying this for the last couple of years about the medical team, how fucked it has been. You have players coming back for 2 games or a game. They're coming back for a game and then they're out injured again, like Mason Mount, Luke Shaw, constantly. And I love Shaw, but it's that kind of thing. Like, how the fuck can players be coming back if they're clearly still injured? Yeah,
it's like they're on a part-time contract. The way they're coming in and out, it's like, we can only play him for 10 games. He's out injured.
Yeah, or like they've endorsements or something. Yeah. You know, they've to be in China to fucking launch some brand somewhere. But it's frustrating. Quickly getting back on the Sesko situation. I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't crying out for Gork-e-head for, best part of a year.
Here's a chat that me and my dad have been having now for the last while about him.
Birds and the bees.
Birds and the bees. He told me about it. I'm mortified.
What?
Where?
And she makes what noise?
But as me and him were talking about it, and he's like, I wonder if Amorim knows something
that
we don't. And is that why he's not pushing for him as much? Because they said they want in and around 70 to 80 million for him.
Yeah.
And then we're going to pay that much for Sesko.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Do you know what I mean? So my dad's like, maybe he knows something a little bit more than what we know. And maybe he was kind of like pretending to push. Kind of do the old sort of like City manipulation.
Yeah, the misdirection.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look, we actually want this striker. We want him. And then another team will go in and be like, oh, no, we can't let him have it.
It is, but is it that thing where it's like, does Amorim know? Like, there's no disputing the fact that Gork-e-head last year was electric.
Yeah.
And his stats were not bad when he was in the Championship, but they're not what they were in the Portuguese League. I think Amorim knows himself that the Portuguese League is a la the Championship.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's another thing we're actually talking about. When he was in the championship, they weren't terrible stats. But here's another example where
Plus he's 27, you know. So
he's 27 as well, and we've had to sign someone who's 22.
Yes, I think 22 or 23. Yeah.
I think he's 23 by the time the season starts. So even at that, like he's still got what is it, seven good years left in him. Yeah. If he really pushes.
Realistically, I mean, most strikers. I mean, if you're to go by the likes of Harry Kane, and if you're to go by the likes of even not Shearer, but they really came into, like, strikers really hit their peak at 27, 26, 27, 28.
Yeah.
And if they're, and again, this traditionally, and all things change, and then you have fucking like freaks of nature like Ronaldo and Messi or whatever. But in general terms, they have 3, 4, 5 good years from 27 to 31, 32 before their legs start to go. Maybe it could be something as simple as Amarin's going, right, this is a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
And Gorky is in 5 years or even 4 years. Now, he could be, maybe he knows something about in the medical department, or he knows something about an Achilles heel, a Paul McGrath type thing that we don't know about. Maybe, I don't know. I hope so, because fuck Arsenal. But do you know what I mean? Because
realistically, in 5 years, Sesko is going to be the same age as Gork-e is now.
I have to get this right. Benjamin Sesko.
Sesko.
Yes. But that's how I think you pronounce it. And we were chatting about the Brian Mbuemo, but he actually on a Man United video says Brian Mbomo.
Mbomo.
But anyway, look, does it really matter as long as he scores goals?
Exactly.
But Gorky is, I think he. We'll see.
Because he scored a header there in the last match.
Yeah.
And it was well taken. But to be honest with you as well, another thing as well about Arsenal, talking about how the way they play, the way City plays, they brought in a lot of old City players that kind of fit the formula that they want to play now, like taking in Gabriel Jesus and stuff like that as well. Mm-hmm. They like to play with the false 9 a lot. That will not suit him.
Well, I hope he is a false 9.
Do you know what I mean? Because
no, look, don't get me wrong. I look, it's a real coin toss, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, because Arsenal and United both were lacking the same thing last season. Only Arsenal, in general, played a lot better than us, and they galvanised in other positions in order to get where they ended up, which was with no trophies. But it's that thing where like I can't see realistically United or Arsenal winning the league, if I'm being completely honest, because Liverpool, you can't write them off. You never can. Not in recent years.
No. And then especially now after the tragedy that had happened, that could either go one or two ways. Where it could either bond team and good luck to the rest of the league now for the next 2-3 seasons if they're going to make that bond. Yeah. But realistically, as a rival, we need to be constantly trying to better them. Yeah.
I think for the first time in maybe, honestly, 10 years, I think we've gone out and tried to fix the problems that we have. Yeah. Instead of, getting some bridging transfers. Like, I was happy with Rasmus, and I suppose now is as good a time as any to talk about Rasmus, but, when we bought him, once he started scoring, he did look like he was going to hit kind of Solskjaer type stuff levels. I feel for him because, as we've said on this podcast before, and I tell everyone that listen about him, he does have that, likeable nephew vibe to him where like everybody likes him.
Because do you know what I think it is? I know because it's what I've seen when I was watching him, seeing him play and the way he plays for the shirt, and seeing how he reacts when he scores goals. It's like that's how you'd react if he scored for United. Yeah, because he's just a young boy playing for a club that he loves. Yeah. And that's exactly how we'd all be. So I think a lot of us as well kind of see ourselves in his shoes.
A bit like Robbie Keane when he signed for 15 different clubs that he always dreamed of playing for as press conferences. He was like, "Oh, I always dreamed of playing for this club since I was a little boy." Now, but like ultimately, I think the difference is you're looking at the likes of Mbuemo and Mbumo and Mbuemo and Kuhn and Mbumu. But like you're looking at like O'Brien, for example, and you're looking at Cunha, and they're saying the right things. I don't think players say that they support or they love the club or they always dreamed of playing for a club anymore if they don't, because they don't have to.
No.
You know, these lads do.
And it proves it as well. My favourite thing as well, it's gone back onto the Sesko thing as well, and the same with Mbumo and the same with Cunha. They've had a lot of clubs coming in for them, Newcastle. Coming in for
lot of small mid-table clubs that are hindered by FFP. But anyway, well.
They know that they've come in for these players and they've offered them a lot more money, a lot more, like, I don't know how would you say it? Like, basically, here's a load of money, come play for us, and and
a better package.
Better package
for them as people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A bit more stability.
And a better package for the club.
Yeah, and then they turned that down for reduced wages and not as much stability as well. And they were like, do you know what? I'm not going to go to this team as Champions League footballers. You're going to be playing in Europe next year. I want to earn my football.
Yeah.
I want to earn my European football next season.
I think the contracts are based on potential. There's obviously bonuses written into the contracts. And I think they've all been... what this does, I think, predominantly as well, is that it shows that they're hungry and they want to succeed. Yeah. In that they probably have stipulations in their contract that if they score amount of goals, they can go back and renegotiate their personal terms.
Yeah.
And get up and then try and hit the numbers, the Casemiro numbers and the Rashford stuff. It's like, right, we'll prove it. Go out and get it. You do the job and we'll pay you that way. And I think that shows that they're backing themselves.
And that's what we need.
Cunha's looking at that going, I back myself. I know I'm going to do a good job here. I'm going to do a fucking great job. And if you pay me correct, if you look after me, and then if you pay me and give me incentives to work harder, I don't think, to be completely honest about it, I think these players, I mean, you're talking, I was listening to something about Brian Mbumo the other day. We're talking about a guy who plays the piano. We're talking about, no, seriously, we're talking about a guy who reads. You know, he's not your average footballer. He's a smart man, you know.
That just reminds me of that Sancho reveal video.
Yeah. hands down by his side and like fake hands coming out like that to play the piano. Yeah, but that thing where he's like, these are not stupid lads.
Yeah.
These are like new age footballers. These are like incredibly detailed lads who really care, and they're making that little bit of extra effort because they know that if it pays off, they can do extremely well financially, but you have to earn your money. You know, it's
exactly.
It's like what my dad used to say about going out for points. You have to earn your points.
Because another thing as well, what I'm loving about the new signings coming in now, and especially the young lads like Sesko coming in and stuff like that as well, and then need to bring in younger lads as well. Now is bringing in a good goalkeeper.
Like Emi Martinez.
Like Emi Martinez.
He's not young, but yeah. I
mean,
mean,
he's got the experience. Yeah. Because he can, if we have Aiden Heaven in the back line, and you have Martinez, who's an experienced World Cup winning goalkeeper, behind him, telling him what to do, he's not going to turn around and be like, oh, why is he shouting at me?
Yeah.
He's going to be like, I'm going to learn from this chap.
Yeah.
And then he turns around to get away from Emi Martinez, shouting at him for a little bit, and he sees Casemiro in front of him. And Casemiro is going to be there doing the same thing. He's like, come on, just pick it up. And that's the importance of bringing in these young lads now with the experience, which is one thing we lacked on, because we brought in Ibrahimovic and Cavani and we just swapped them for each other rather than bringing in a younger striker to then learn from them. Yeah.
I think there is something to be said for Martinez. Donnarumma's a good shot stopper, but there's been times when I was watching him kind of going, stop being so Italian, you know, just fucking catch the ball, you know, that kind of stuff. I like Martinez. He's the older option out of the two, and I think I'd like to go back to those days where you did have that Romero De Gea kind of thing challenging each other, and both of a reasonable age. So ideally, I would like to see De Gea come back and push Onana and not push Onana out, and then. But I don't think Onana works well under that type of pressure, as I mentioned earlier. No. Martinez would be good, and what's interesting to me about Emi Martinez coming in is you have Liche playing ahead in front of him. Yep. And you have what you ultimately have the backbone of the world champions.
That goal and chemistry.
Yeah, and it's like the wink and nod and the shorthand where he's like sorted out.
Yeah.
And then as well with that kind of subculture of, you know, the kind of trade union that they have now of the new team.
The new management team.
Management team within the management team kind of thing. I think, when you have Leach and that, and then you have Martinez and stuff.
Mazraoui.
You can't argue with the fact see. This is another argument about the Pogba. Getting back to Paul Pogba. Pogba won the World Cup, and not that he didn't play well in that France team. You know, Paul Pogba has always been Paul Pogba in the sense that he plays brilliantly and then disappears. Yeah. Brilliantly and disappears.
But where is Paul Pogba during all of this?
Where is he? Oh, that's right. He was banned for being
a dope.
For being a dope and doping. But that thing, it's like he. And I'm not trying to denigrate winning the World Cup, but it's like he came back to the Man United team after he won the World Cup, in and around that, and it's like everyone seemed to fawn to him, and he didn't deserve that place in the dressing room. And this is for no other reason but his ability. I'm not going to get into the dancing and all that type of stuff that everyone else moans about, but I think he was a false prophet, and I think everyone thought he deserved it. Follow his lead, because that's how you get to the very top, and I don't think that's the case.
I think with Pogba, as you were saying, like he'd show up, have a good game, and he'd disappear. Yep. Do you know what I mean? And with those, the highlight videos is one thing that definitely got the likes of me excited.
Yeah.
Seeing what he could do, like that goal he scored outside of the boot, up into the top left hand corner from miles out.
Yeah.
You know the one, and then seeing that, and then you watch him on the pitch, and you're like, yeah, no, he's literally just a highlight video.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like Justin Bieber or Neymar.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. It's like just not in the old sense of the, like, this is the thing. It's the, and all the older viewers will obviously agree with this as well. It's the Cantona thing. It's the Keane thing. It's the leaders on the pitch. Yeah. It's 5-6 players that are, if you don't do a good job, they're going to pull you.
But it's going back to the Fergie thing as well, where it's like you can't have him showing up against City, Chelsea, Liverpool. Do you know, like
not doing it with Stoke on a main Monday night, rainy Monday night.
Go Stoke,
baby,
big baby, and
baby. But it is that
it's like you need to get the results against like the likes of Southampton, the likes of Fulham, the likes of Leeds. You know what I mean? Like all these clubs who have been fighting relegation at the time, who are losing points against.
Yeah.
Like we need, like if it's a 1-0 win, it's still a win.
Scrappy wins, yeah. Like United were, the United I know were masters of the 1-0 win. Closing people down. I think, look, there's the bones of a really good squad there now.
Yeah.
And I like on paper, looking at even our squad last year, I still think that Xerxes is going to come good.
Yeah.
There were times, like when he was, particularly towards the end of the season, when he looked like the player that we thought we were signing.
Like he's still in his early 20s. Yeah. Is he even 20 yet?
No, and another thing that I like as well, saying this as a short guy, I love that they have a bit of height now on the team. Yeah. Xerxes and Sesko, and and a bit of height for headers and people, coming into the box and being able to make a name for themselves in that way.
Even saying that, one thing that really bothered me about watching last season when Leach was playing was he was one of the shortest people on the pitch, and he's, what is he, like 5'10"?
He's only about 5'9", 5'8", 5'9". He's small for a defender.
But that's and he was winning the most headers on the pitch. Do you know that? Like he's the smallest person there, and he's up and he's winning headers against someone.
You ever see Leach warming up? He's always practicing his headers, jumping and practicing his headers. It's an agility thing. It's like Ronaldo. Ronaldo's 6'2", but how's he rising above defenders that are 6'5", for headers? It's that type of thing.
Like an NBA player.
Yeah. It's totally that. Rasmus Højlund, just again on him, my position on him is quite clear. I love him. I think he's great, but I think in order for his own career, you have to kind of give up the ghost to do something.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him go out on loan to AC Milan and a great club like AC Milan, who are having a very similar experience to us at the moment. Finishing 8th in Serie A last year. I went to see them against Leeds at the weekend. More so to support AC Milan before me Leeds mates drop me a text. But I think he'd fit well in that system. He'd start scoring again, and then look, he's under a serious amount of pressure, both internationally and as a club.
Domestically.
Domestically. He's he needs to start scoring.
Yeah, 100%.
For his own career, or he'll turn into a Makeda or one of these where he'll have a career and he'll earn money, but he won't reach the heights of the potential that he has. And he has, Cheeto Obi barking, breathing down his neck, barking down his neck, breathing down his neck.
Breathing down his neck.
Not barking on
breathing
his neck.
on his neck.
Breathing. But, he has to be careful, because if he falls down the pecking order, it doesn't get a game. I admire the fact that he's coming out going, look, I want to fight for my place. I want to be there. I want to give it a go. I know how good I am. And we do see how good you are.
Because there's actually a few instances last season where I was watching his misses, or a few, not his misses.
Watching his misses?
No, not his misses, but the chances he didn't
There was a
take.
couple of times last season when he was away playing for Manchester United and I was watching his misses.
I was keeping her well. Oh. No, but the chances that he didn't take, and you know what, you could actually see the confidence that he was lacking.
Ebbing, blood draining from his face, kind of stuff.
Exactly, but it's not even that. It's he's overthinking now.
Yeah.
He's like, if I go for this, am I gonna? Because there was a chance where it got put across the 6-yard box, and you can see him looking at the ball, and he just stops dead in his tracks.
Yeah, or the second guessing thing,
Exactly, like he didn't anticipate. Like as a striker, I've always been told as well, growing up, is anticipate everything.
Yeah. Like, same type of thing when I played underage football. It's like, when you're a kid and you're not thinking about anything, you're just doing what comes naturally straight away, whether it be just taking a shot or doing something, and the coaches spend a lot of time with kids as well, propping them up and saying, look, it's a confidence game, where it's like they're telling the young kids, it doesn't matter, go back, reset, we'll go again, kind of thing. But absolutely, Rasmus, it's like exactly that, where you're looking at him going, Jesus, man, just stop trying so hard. And to put it in kind of our terms, because we're both actors as well, when you're overthinking stuff, when you're trying to learn lines and you're trying to, good is good enough.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're overly focusing on trying to get a specific result, and I don't think there's any other job in the world where there's quite literally a correlation with doing one thing and getting it absolutely perfect for that other thing to happen. And I think it's only in that where you have the freedom to make those mistakes that you can flourish. And unfortunately, Rasmus last year, he wasn't allowed that time because he had to carry that cross. But it is that thing where you're like, I feel sorry for the lad.
Yeah.
I hope he goes to Milan. I hope he has a fucking great 6 months, year, but I hope he's on loan so that we can take him back.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he deserves it, I think, for the fucking horrible nature that we put and pressure that we put him on.
It goes to that thing again, like he had that pressure immediately because obviously his name is Hoyland and he's from like a Scandinavian country as well, and they just immediately start putting him up against Haaland.
Yeah.
And that was another issue and another bit of pressure. I think
that thing. Comparison is the theft of joy. That's the problem. I mean, it is that thing with be yourself. Now everybody else is taken, especially for Hoyland. Carve out your own future. Be the type of player that you want to be, as opposed to what you perceive other people want you to be.
Exactly. Like even if you look at, say for example, Mason Mount.
Yeah.
Like last season, he came in. He wasn't doing what was needed of him.
Yeah.
Got an injury, disappeared for a bit, came back, he looked a bit off, and then out of nowhere, just another spark of confidence came out of nowhere from him because he was able to dig in.
That's Amarim. Amarim loves him.
Exactly, and you can see why, because he plays in the system that Amarim wants, whereas I don't think he fit in well in the Ten Hag system.
No.
Because the funny thing is that not a lot of players fit in well in that system.
Yeah.
And beforehand, I was a big admirer of Erik Ten Hag. I said it to everyone. I was like, I love his youth system work. I love the way he plays ball. I love the way he plays attacking football. Yeah. And then when he came to United, none of that happened, and it actually revealed that he wasn't a great manager. Yeah, he won 2 trophies. In my opinion, he wasn't a great manager because you can't go to a club, bring your old club with you, sign all the players that you had, and then be like, look, see, I'm a good manager.
It's adapt or die in football. You have what you have. I think Eric was like, and I did like his personality. He did have a siege mentality in terms of what it is that he wanted to do. And
trust the process.
The process. Club. Look, I liked him, and to be honest with you, I was blinded with the kind of Dutch connection because of Dutch family, and I love Ajax. But the reality is very, like, in the cold light of day, here we are. How long later now? 6 months, 8 months, whatever. A bit longer than that, maybe. It just didn't work. And I knew it was curtains for him because in a presser towards the end, he said he cannot get Man United to play like Ajax.
And that's the thing, is like United have something in the DNA that won't allow us to play in that sort of, because for some reason he wanted to play in sort of more of a defensive style compared to the way the Ajax team were playing. The Ajax team that he had playing were playing a high defensive line and proper counter-attacking football, but you just couldn't do that with United. Yeah. And the issue with that is as well, there was some players that didn't fit into his system that would have fit perfectly into this system.
At the club?
At the club. At the club.
The process.
At the process, and like with what's his name? McSauce. You got McTominay.
Scotty too hotty.
Oh, like he has a mural. They replaced a holy mural in Naples with him.
Yeah. And
now he's up for a Ballon d'Or. You know what I mean? And I'm so happy that has happened to him because, as I was saying to you before, he's my favourite player.
Yeah.
To wear the United shirt since.
I have to say this, like we have a WhatsApp group as well. We have a public one if you want to join. So comment below and we can send you the link. We have a public one for banter, but we also have one for the hosts. And a year and a half ago, I literally put up. I do a little bit of graphic design, so I handle all the stuff we do for this, and I superimposed McTominay's head on Ronaldo's Ballon d'Or winning trophy thing to take the piss, and not because I didn't think he was a good player. He was just, there was a period, particularly under the season before last, first half of the season, McTominay was winning. He was the only one scoring for about a month.
Yeah.
And there's an element of kind of looking at his overall game and going, well, he's not a great player. But the reality is, he actually is a great player.
Phenomenal. Like
it's that heart thing we were talking about.
Exactly, and that's what you want, to be able to put that jersey on and want to play for the club. Yeah. It's not like, I'm going to get a class L paycheck out of this and everyone's going to know my name because it has 100 millions of followers on Instagram and all that, and it's going to boost up me, and then I'm going to be able to get paid for posts, and it's always money. Yeah. But with this lad, you could just see it, like, loved him, honestly. And the thing is like, if you actually looked at the Scotland formation and how they played in the Euros and how many goals he scored, it was a very similar formation to the way Ruben Amorim's now holding the United formation.
Yeah. I mean, look, was he a kind of a keen battling midfielder? No, he wasn't, but I don't think we played. There's games when he just grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck for United and really saved us in the same way Bruno did at the second half of last season. And you have to ask yourself, if McTominay was there at the end of last season, how many games when we needed a couple of points would he have saved for us? Yeah. What do you think, lads? Comment below and let us know what you think of Scotty Too Hotty. And I think, I think it was unfair, that whole McFred thing. And I think that the association with Fred and that kind of stuff, and the memes and how and Fred is not a bad player, not United standards, but McTominay certainly was. And I think that kind of attachment dragged him down a little bit. And that, I think that was unfair, that McFred thing. McTominay, I wouldn't be surprised if he nabs it. I mean,
look, could you imagine if we had McTominay and Ugarte now? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like with them two kind of playing together, even in that midfield. But the thing is, I think that's way too deep for him. Even if he played in where you could have him even coming off the bench or even competing with Cunha and Mbeumo in that position.
But I think that's what Amorim is trying to do. He's trying to get strength and depth in every position. A la, treble winning team and the double team of 07-08, where you have someone coming off the bench doing a job and they're as good as the other player that's coming off. And we haven't had that for years. And it's starting to look like we have that now.
Like we had PK on the bench.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? On loan.
Before his PK.
Before his PK.
Before he hit his PK.
¿Qué?
¿Qué? Ni hablo español. Me llamo Paul. So, it's that thing where it's like, could McTominay be in that shake-up and do well? I think he would. Let's talk about, very quickly before we wrap up, about Bruno Fernandes not making the shortlist for the Ballon d'Or.
What I don't get is that...
And Declan Rice making the shortlist because of two wonder scruff goals. half kind of volley, kind of Real Zaragoza type fluky fucking volleys.
Like the free kick as well. It was a class free kick now, in fairness, but at the same time as well, it's like you can't give someone a Ballon d'Or for that. Do you know, like when what we kind of talked about as well in the group is Bruno Fernandes. If you look at the stats, he has his interceptions are very close to Declan Rice's. His defensive stats were very close to Declan Rice's in certain aspects. Yeah. And then on top of that as well, you've got Bruno creating the most chances in the league. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And
up there with De Bruyne, you know, when he was at his peak, the same kind of numbers.
Yeah.
How in the top league in the world, someone has the highest or thereabouts highest stats?
Yeah, it's like 91.
How can you omit him?
Yeah.
From anyone else. Now, what that tells me is that there is clearly some sort of bias against United on some level, and there always has been with the Ballon d'Or. I mean, there's been seasons where, you know, there's the Ronaldo stuff, obviously, but there's been seasons where, you know, players were clearly there or thereabouts. Paul Scholes, you know, like ignored constantly by the Ballon d'Or.
Messi out injured for a long time as well and still winning it. Yeah, it kind of baffled me, but at the same time as well, if people do like look at this and they're looking at it and they're like, yeah, well, Bruno Fernandes didn't do this and Declan Rice done that. The difference is between the two of them. One of them has a trophy from last season and the season before that.
That's all it is, really, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? Because like,
it's a PR stunt. It's beginning to look like a PR stunt.
Bruno won another international trophy. I think it was the Nations League one.
Yeah.
Whereas Declan Rice hasn't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And on top of that as well, you've got Bruno digging deep. I know they're two completely different positions.
Yeah, I get it, yeah.
But at the same time, even at that, it's like, how can you have somebody with the stats that Bruno has? I know he finished low in the league, but you can't have one man carrying another 10 men on his shoulders the whole time.
And that's what he was doing. He was a la McTominay, like saving United. Now, look, I think you have to be I always try and be a football fan and as objective as I can be about these things. Bruno didn't have a good opening to the season last season, and I think they do try and take a lot of that into account. But, you know, I think it's important before the Arsenal game, and particularly because of the amount of time that he's played for the club that we talk about. Alejandro Garnacho. You know, so like, what's your stance on him? How do you feel about him? And he is going, but it looks like.
Yeah, no, 100%. What's seeing him coming off the bench as a youngster after seeing how he done in the youth cup?
Yeah,
right, phenomenal player. I was like, unbelievable. Can't wait to see this. It's nice to see youth lads coming up through it. Yeah. He's basically like Mainu has become what I wanted him to be. Whereas Mainu now can hold his position in the centre midfield. If we needed him, he showed up when we needed him.
Yeah.
Whereas Garnacho has this mindset of himself which is completely different to that.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about it as well before, whereas he now is the same age as Ronaldo when Ronaldo first joined United from Sporting.
Yeah.
And Ronaldo wasn't like looking up being like, I'm the next Ronaldo.
So yeah, I mean,
he started focusing more about his appearance than his performance.
Yeah, the teeth, the tattoos, the prison baking. Prison break kind of stuff where there was a lot of interviews with him where he was just talking about his appearance, what he looked like, loads of pictures in the gym,
and do you know
Marcus Rashford stuff, you know.
And then what happened there as well was he came out and asked a question in an interview after the final.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I played this much time in the semi-final, this much time in the quarter-final. How am I not playing this time and with this amount of minutes? And it's like, I'm sorry, but you've already answered your own question by talking to the press like that.
Yeah.
Already doubting the manager.
This is the thing. You know, if you have to think about this as like a war zone. If you had soldiers that were doing stuff like this, and it was the 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s or whatever, players, like other soldiers would kill you for shit like that.
Yeah.
It's like they don't have time for it. Everybody's pushing in the same direction or we're going to fucking murder you. Literally.
Going AWOL.
You know, that kind of thing, or, you know, backstabbing, questioning everything. Yeah. It is that kind of military operation idea, and if everyone's not pulling in the same direction, like you're in or you're out.
Yeah, exactly. Because if I'm sprinting up that wing, or if I'm sprinting forward with the ball, and if I'm going like proper ham at it, and my legs are starting to give up, and I start to slow down, and there's nobody here on either side of me there to help me or back me up, and I've got a defender bearing down on me or a midfielder bearing down on me, and there's nobody on either side of me that's when I know that I don't have the team around me that I'm supposed to have.
Yeah.
Whereas now, if you look at, say, for example, the last game there against Fiorentina, where you see like Mbumo going forward, or you see Cunha going forward, on either side of him, you've got Dorgu, or else you've got Delo, or else you've got Fernandez. Do you know what I mean? You've always got somebody now in your corner who's going to be sprinting ahead to try and get that.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm really looking forward to as well now with the Sesko thing as well, because with those three up top, so if Dorgu makes a run,
Sesko. I heard a rumor that Sesko worked in Tesco.
Alfresco?
He went on the Shesh.
On the Shesh?
Go with Sesko.
But
yeah, it's that. Yeah, I agree with you. It's the, it's bringing it back to that kind of war mentality. If like you look around you and none of your mates are there to support you, you're dead. There's no doubt that Garnacho is an incredible player. Yeah. But he's seriously in danger of becoming the next Januzaj. Yeah. The next Bojan, the next, and if he thinks going to Chelsea is a step up from Man United, and if he thinks he's going to replace Cole Palmer in that team, he has another thing coming.
Not a hope. Like the Cole Palmer was even struggling there, I think, at one point. Didn't he get benched for a little bit as well?
Yeah, his form dropped right off last season.
And then he got benched. And I don't think Garnacho has the head on him now to be able to actually do that without blaming somebody else. Yeah. And that's a big issue. And that's one thing I think that let United down over the last few years.
It's very basic stuff for Garnacho, and this is the thing, and I don't think he got it. It is that thing at United, or at least the new, I'm hypercritical of Ineos and what, and the Glazers, etc. But they are, like whether you want to believe it or not, they are trying to address the...
Believe it.
You better believe it. We'll get on to him very quickly before we go. They are trying to rectify that, and it is that thing with United, or this new idea of Man United from Amarim and Big Jim is it's that thing where you're like, ask not what you can do, ask not what your club can do for you, but what you can do for your club. Yeah. And if you don't have that, if that's not rule one, page one, that's page one on the new handbook, and if you're not in line with that, you're gone. And he's proved it. Rashford, go. Sancho, Wilderness, go. And it doesn't matter how talented a player you are. I don't think they get that it's a team sport.
Yeah. And that's what, with the likes of all that sort of stuff, when you're talking about Rashford there as well, when you see pictures of him in New York while your team's struggling. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
And that's not like a working class kind of thing where you're like, bastard, he's loads of money or whatever. It's not even about the fact that he was there. He wouldn't be the first footballer to go away for a weekend. It's the fact that he's being papped. It's the fact that these players are putting themselves in a position where they're trying to build their businesses within their careers and trying to make money and sell stuff. Focus on your football. Roy Keane has had it right all along, But anyway, we have to move on very quickly. Yeah. So, what did we say we were going to talk about? What was the last thing?
Believe it.
I was going to say Sesko.
See, here's a good way to transition into it. What we were talking about, the Ineos and Jim Ratcliffe and all that as well. And the way they were saying before we went into this transfer window, I was completely caught off guard by it. Yeah. Like, they were like, we've no money, we can't do this, we can't do that. And then we signed Cunha. I was like, class. I'll take that, 100%. And then they were like, oh, Mbumo. I was like, oh, unbelievable. Yeah, yeah. And then Sesko.
Sesko.
And then Sesko. And then
Sesko.
And then he comes in out of nowhere. I'm like, oh my God, we've got another striker. Yeah. And then now we're also being linked with Donnarumma, Martinez, and now Baliba.
You better believe it.
You better believe it.
Second time I put that joke in. Yeah, reports on him are good. I was aware of him. I went to the Brighton game the end of last season, and he did stick out. He was like a Sabutio player. The ball was just always around his feet. He digs in, he gets stuck in, he gets the ball, he retrieves it. He's like a Jack Russell.
Reminds me of N'Golo Kante.
Yeah.
I think was it with Leicester at first, wasn't he? Was he with Leicester?
Yeah.
And then he went. And then
he won the league with Leicester and then went to Chelsea. Yeah.
And that's why he was the type of player there where he was digging in, and that's when United were looking at him that time as well. They were looking at Kante and how he was playing, and now we're going for a younger version of him now, obviously, who who's now willing to put it in, and all these players as well that they're bringing in have that same sort of attribute where they want to beat a player and get forward and play the ball forward.
Yeah. I like him. He looks like an old style footballer. He's not afraid to tackle. I mean, if you haven't, give him a quick Google there, guys, and check out his highlights from playing for Brighton over the years. He is a old school box to box, get the ball, do like a la Roy Keane. Only he's like Baliba is a much better striker of the ball than Keane was.
Yeah.
He can do all of the dirty work, slide in, get the ball, retrieve it, go, and he's in the 10 feet around him, circumference-wise, he's really good with the ball. Get the ball, beat a player or two, get rid of it, or he's not afraid to have a strike from distance.
And that's what, like, seeing his defending as well, there's like, this will probably be another good thing as well, which could kind of benefit us maybe in the long run.
Yeah.
Is whereas we seen against Fiorentina where we weren't getting enough strikes off, and Harry Maguire pushed forward. And he had a strike. Do you know, like seeing him getting forward and strike the ball reminded me of seeing videos of him
of a yacht crashing into a fucking mountain face.
But you know what the funny thing is? It's like I think I seen videos of him. I think he played for Southampton. I think it was
Sheffield United.
And
then Leicester. Yeah.
And then Leicester. Yeah, no, Sheffield. And then he was getting forward and he was having strikes like that.
Yeah.
And which is good because if the keeper parries it, then you've got Sesko
coming in. Sesko or Air Bryan or Mbomo. Or Ahmad Fernandez. That's the point. That's what's exciting.
Exactly. And then he's going to have that cover now where he's able to have that freedom of going forward, or Leacher when he's back from injury, because he loves doing that as well.
Yeah, I mean there's a number of outfield players that can score goals now, which is what we've been lacking for the last 2 years. Just someone putting the ball in the back of the net.
100%.
Jimmy, thank you.
No problem.
Welcome to the cult.
Actually, I do want to ask you one question before we finish up.
Go on.
What's the score on Sunday?
Hang on a second. Yeah, I'd say most probably a draw, because opening game of the season, jitters, all that type of stuff. Arsenal coming to town. I'd say a score draw. I think I don't think he'll start. I'd like him to start Sesko, but I don't think he will. I think he'll come off the bench. We'll be 1-0 down. Gork-e-head will score first. Sesko will score off the bench, and henceforth we'll create that rivalry, him and Gork-e-head, for the rest of the season, which we'll all be following up and talking about here. I would say. Yourself?
I'm going to say 2-1 United. I don't know what it is though. Those matches love a good 2-1.
Yeah, I don't know.
And hopefully by the end of it, Gyökeres will have a new mask celebration whenever he scores again.
Yeah, I hope he does the plastic bag over his eyes. Guys, thanks James, thanks everyone for watching. You know what to do. Hit the like and subscribe button, share it with your mates. We have a Facebook group for the Cult of Cantona. We have obviously our social media channels. We're on TikTok, Instagram, obviously Facebook as well. And if you'd like to support the show, most importantly, head on over to buymeacoffee.com/cult of Cantona. The Cult of Cantona is the handle for all of our other social media channels. But thanks for hanging around. We also have something really cool coming up. So if you become a member on buymeacoffee.com/cult of Cantona, we're going to be doing a draw for some really awesome crates of Rascals Brewing Company beer, sponsored by obviously the Rascals Brewing Company. A wonderfully supportive team there. Big thanks to Joe for helping us out, and we will organise that for either you to pick up or us to get it to you. So if you want to be in with a chance to win some free, smooth, scintillating Rascals Brewing Company beer, you know what to do. Become a member. It's $5 a month. It helps us keep these lights on. It helps us produce content. It helps us run events and bring people over and do various bits and pieces. So join for that. Stay for the beer. We'll also be doing various giveaways and bits and pieces as we have done at the event. We gave away a couple of tickets to Old Trafford, signed jerseys, all sorts of stuff. We're going to be interviewing some other really cool people as time progresses. Hopefully some trips to Old Trafford and stuff, and doing stuff from over there. But in the meantime, join the cult. Thanks a million, James.
No problem at all. Pleasure being here.
Bye.
Bye.